adding and subtracting in algebra. So when we're adding and subtracting in algebra, we have to remember that the most important thing is that we're adding like with like. So what I mean by adding like with like is that you can only add the same letter to the same letter. So really what we're doing is we're picking out things with the same letter, we're grouping them, and we're adding the numbers beforehand, or subtracting when there's a minus with it. So for instance, if I have something like 3x and I have 3y, I can't add them together because of the x and the y. Whereas if I had 3x and 3x, I would be able to add the numbers together there. So if we take a look at a couple of examples then on that. If I take a look at this question here, you'll see this comes up all the time. It says simplify. Simplify means that you have to make this into its simplest form. So if there's anything that you're able to add. If there's anything you have to multiply, you can multiply it out, just so you end up with it in its simplest form in the least amount of parts as possible. So if I look at this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my highlighter and I'm going to match things together. So if I'm using my highlighter here, I can see the first thing is 2x. So I'm going to keep the 2x. Now, the 2x, before the 2x, there's no symbol, there's no plus or no minus, but that means that it's a plus. So if the first one has no symbol, it means it's a plus. I go across then to the next one, plus 3y, I can't add that. I can add the minus 5y though, minus 5x, sorry. So the next thing I'm going to add in is minus 5x. They go together. If I check the rest of them, none of the rest of them have x's. Okay, I take another colour then, and I go to another one. So in this case, I'm going to look at the plus 3y. So for the plus 3y then, I know that I can add that to the plus 7y. So plus 7y, and then two, they will go together. The last one then is the plus 3. It has no letter, so it's stuck on its own. So what I'm going to do from here then is I'm going to add the like with like. So I'm adding the two parts in blue. That's 2 take away 5. That's going to be a minus 3. Sorry. Minus 3. And I keep my x after because I know it's x is the letter. The next thing then is I'm going to add the green parts, and the green parts add to give me plus 10y. And lastly then I have my plus 3 at the end, and there is my answer there. Okay? Right, let's take a look then at another question very similar to that. With these questions, it's helpful if you're able to underline things that are the same, or have some kind of highlighter that you can pick out things that are the same. So if I look at this question here, I can see here that I have, again, the word simplify. So that means I'm going to have to make this into the smallest amount of different parts as I can. My first one is a 3x, okay? And there's nothing before it, no symbol before it, so that means it's a plus 3x. The next one then, that's an x as well, so I'm going to take the next one, and that's a plus 4x. The symbol always comes before it, so if it's a plus, the plus will be stuck before it. If it's a minus, the minus will be stuck after it. Now this one, the minus 5x squared, that's different. That's not the same as x, so that's going to be something I'm going to use a different colour for. And that is a negative 5x squared. So negative 5x squared or minus 5x squared. Okay. So to answer these then, I'm going to add the x's together, and all I have to do is I have to add what the numbers are before it. So if I look at the numbers before it, I have a 3 and a 4. That gives me a 7x. Now I don't need to put anything before, but if I wanted I could put a plus there, but no need to because it's the first one. The next bit then is I don't have anything to add on to the 5x squared, so I keep that as a minus 5x squared. I'll write that again, squared. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at a third example then. This example here. So again, I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to highlight, let's go with x's first. So the first one is an x, so I highlight that, and again I know that's a plus x because there's no symbol on in the front of it. The next one is a minus 7x, so I'm going to highlight that as well. They'll go together. The next one has an x and a y, so that's different. I need a different color highlighter for that. That's plus 2xy. So xy is taken as like one unit now, one thing. And I have to look and see, is there anything else with an x and a y? If I look at the next one, that's a y and an x, but it still has the same letters. So I'm still allowed to stick those two together because it has the same letters. They just reverse the order of the letters, but that's okay. So I'm going to colour that in green as well. Okay, so when I go to answer my question, I have 8 take away 7. That gives me 1x. And I have 2 plus 2 of these, take away 7 of them, that's minus 5 xy. I could have also said yx. Makes no difference of the order of those two letters. The last thing I'll mention here is I've written a 1 in front of the x, but I don't need to write that 1. That is the same as writing x. So anytime you see x on its own, that's a 1x, a plus 1x. So remember, if they're not writing anything before it, you take it as a plus. If they're not writing a number before it, you take it as a 1.